let's talk about the Steam Machine. I want to know more about this Steam Machine. So Linus Tech Tip made a video on it 3 days ago. And of course, it happened on my days off. But I want to see the breakdown. How's the controller? How's the box itself? What's the modifications? What can you do? What can it do? You know? That's what I'm curious about. I am very curious on this device because it is coming out next year, at the beginning of next year.
And VR headset, that's going to have to be a separate video. This one focusing on the new Steam Machine, and yes, the wait is finally over, the 2026 edition Steam controller. Let's start with a little history. Over 10 years ago, Valve announced their first version of SteamOS, a Linux-based operating system that would free gamers from the shackles of Microsoft Windows. No, it was a total commercial flop. But instead of giving up on Steam machines, Valve doubled down, working with game developers on Linux native ports of their games and with open source developers on the Proton compatibility layer that makes their Steam Deck handheld out-of-the-box compatible with thousands of Steam games, even ones that only ever shipped on Windows. The Steam Deck is believed to have sold millions of units at this point, and no wonder given its great balance of solid gaming and outstanding affordability. But its mobile form factor has given it certain limitations and left gamers hungry for something more substantial. And well, here it is. I'm calling it...
It's so small though. Actually, it's probably a little bit bigger for me, to be honest, but...
the lunchbox. 1, because it's substantial, like lunch. 2, because it's cube-shaped, like a box. And 3, because I think this thing is going to eat Xbox's lunch. Okay,
that's crazy.
Last one was a bit of a reach. But not as far as I'm reaching for this segue to our sponsor.
Hold up, RoveLab is having a sale, 60%.
Oh my god, that's crazy. Anyways.
In what has become typical Valve fashion, they've been atypically open about the new Steam Machine, giving us direct access to the engineering folks who worked on these devices. The only thing I didn't have today was time, so we're gonna get through this as fast as we can. At the heart of the Steam Machine is a 6-core AMD Zen 4-based CPU that turbos up to 4.8 gigahertz with 16 gigs of RAM and an 8 gig GPU that they compared to a 7600 XT-ish. But they were also quick to point out that it might not be apples to apples thanks to their custom software stack and power tuning. Basically, the goal was that pretty much anything on Steam should run at 4K 60 FPS if you're willing to turn down the details and use a little bit of FSR upscaling. And we saw that on display with Cyberpunk running in the demo room at these settings. Valve says to expect about 6 times the performance of the Steam Deck.
Nintendo's shutting down the GameCube. Yeah, but right now they're busy with Power World and they're losing against Power World at the moment.
I was a little surprised to not see an SoC with shared memory, but apparently the decision to go for discrete CPU and GPU came down to balancing cost, power, size, and performance, and also they just didn't feel like they needed to. And I guess Valve was right, because they nailed this thing. Compared to a more traditional ITX small form factor machine, like the OG Steam Machine reference design, you can see that it's a lot smaller.
So that's a OG Steam Machine, framework desktop, and a Steam Machine. God, it's so small though. Holy shit, dude. I feel like I can put it like right here on my desk, and it wouldn't even block that much room on here actually.
More on par with a highly integrated design like something like the framework desktop. Investment disclosure. Like the framework desktop, Valve allows customization of the front panel using these magnetic plates, and they're going to provide the CAD files so you can put whatever your heart desires on here. They even
interesting. So you can make your own faceplate kind of type of thing.
Even had a machine in the demo room with an e-ink display that was showing system vitals. Pretty darn cool. But unlike the framework, it has a programmable RGB strip in the front that could be used to personalize your style or maybe show a progress bar while you switch your TV input and wait for your game to be downloaded. The sky's kind of the limit. The front of the device has a power button,
It's a budget PC unless they make changes right now. You can't upgrade those parts. Will be cool if it costs around 400, but my guess it would be 700. Might as well DIY your computer. Yeah, but there's like two different sizes or so. 500 gigabyte. So I'm hoping maybe that one's a little bit more cheaper for the console access, and then maybe the higher memory one will probably be maybe a little bit more expensive than the 500 gig one. So
SD slot, 2 USB 3 5 gigabit per second ports. Then the rest of the I/O is in the back, where you'll find 2 USB 2 Type A ports, a USB-C 10 gigabit per second port, no display port on there.
I'm very curious what the console people think about this, because you know I've been out of the console scene for quite some time, so I'm very curious what they specifically think about the Gabe Cube, basically. You know, would they actually buy it? Question mark. Are they interested in it? Because I got some comments or so saying that, like, from the one discussion that we had or so on the Monster Hunter one, where people said, yeah, I switched over from console to PC because I didn't want to pay online anymore, and I would buy it again on PC. So there were some people who commented in the comment section specifically of the discussion that we were having on stream.
Worth noting, gigabit Ethernet, power in for the integrated.
There's 2 different versions. We don't know the pricing yet for them.
Power supply. Good gravy, this thing is compact. As well as an HDMI 2.0 and DisplayPort 1.4 port. It is worth noting that HDMI 2.0 port, they have tested it at HDMI 2.1 speeds, but there are a couple of features that are not implemented, so they can't call it HDMI 2.1. Also at the back, we have a large 120mm cooling fan that draws air from both the intake on the bottom that comes up through the power supply, as well as the large heatsink on the front. We're gonna crack this thing fully open in a sec, but first I wanna talk about the Steam controller. No, not that Steam controller, the new one, with the exact same name. Before you ask, yes, I made my case to Valve that this is unnecessarily confusing. No, they're not going to change it.
The GameCube is kind of like a hybrid console and PC because it still runs Windows. I think Steam will have a good price. Their track record has been good. My guess is 500. If they do manage to make this thing for $500 or so, they're definitely gonna make a dent or so for the console scene, because then now they're gonna start bringing in the console people into their ecosystem where it can be just a plug and play kind of type of situation.
The good news is Valve learned a lot from the first Steam controller, and this appears to be their most complete offering ever. To be fair, the original was really cool. I mean, it made non-controller games finally playable from the couch, thanks to their innovative haptic touchpad. They also unlocked novel input schemes with gesture control or like swiping with momentum. But they also turned off a lot of folks due to their deficiency of traditional joysticks. Well, that's solved now. The Steam controller is everything that is great about the controller on the Steam Deck, but usable when your Steam Deck is in docked mode, or with your Steam machine, or with any other PC.
It's got buttons in the back. Oh, that's interesting.
On the surface, it offers up a conventional ABXY button layout with a PlayStation-style symmetric joystick design that will work seamlessly out of the box
gonna make a dent in
basically any game. The trackpads have been repositioned to better accommodate the arm's natural position while holding a smaller device compared to the wider Steam Deck, and all of the usual Valve buttons are included. A Steam button for opening the menu, their quick access button for bringing up the SteamOS overlay, 4 rear programmable buttons, the face buttons are satisfying with a nice amount of resistance, and the D-pad has been tuned from the Steam Deck for better feel.
I heard that the sticks or so for this controller are using magnetic sticks or so, better than the Hall Effect ones, so apparently they have better joysticks on these ones.
It feels okay to me, but I only got a couple minutes with it before Valve blew my mind. The joysticks are next generation TMR or tunneling magneto-resistant joysticks, boasting superior accuracy.
That's kind of like the one that I want to try or so, because I have the Hall Effect one here, the normal Hall Effect controller. But I wouldn't mind picking one of these up just to see the difference between the 2 controllers. But I think, if I remember correctly, I think in Japan you can get your controller customized. So maybe if I ever go to Japan or so, I'll buy me a SCUF controller with like instant triggers and everything, and then I want to see if you can get it customized to have the magnetic joysticks. I'm just curious on that. I didn't see where the two versions. Only two versions I see is 512 gigabyte or 2 terabyte and NVMe. Still, both are running the same GPU, which is 8 gigabyte. Well, that's the one or so. You know, as in I'm talking about the storage size when it comes to like two different versions for the players. You know, the GPU is still going to be the same. Like that's still roughly going to be the same thing. So depending how much the Steam controller, I might get one. I think it's kind of cool. It just really depends on the pricing. I'm so curious what is going to be the cost for this thing.
And durability, even compared to Hall effect joysticks. And the controller has been designed from the ground up for a superior gyroscopic aiming or mousing experience with capacitive thumbsticks and even capacitive grips. So you can configure your gyro to enable or disable depending on whether you put your thumb on the stick or even by simply loosening your grip, say to recenter and then reactivate gyroscopic aiming. They had a great demo with Balatro showing how you can use the game's built-in controller compatibility like a pleb, or hear me out, trackpads with the right for movement and the left one split down the middle for left and right click. Or hear me out again, gyro mouse using the face buttons for clicks. And if you don't care about gyro aiming, these capacitive inputs are all remappable as well, opening up a whole world of possibilities. Let's go even deeper. In addition to
that's why you can customize the faceplate.
To the haptic texture-like feedback that you know and love from Valve's previous touchpads, the Steam controller has been upgraded with large rumble motors for better immersion and a large battery that they claim should be good for 35 hours in the most demanding applications, and even better if you don't need quite as much rumble. But I haven't even talked about the best part. If you've ever gamed over Bluetooth, you know that it can
kind
be
of really depends.
inconsistent at best.
I'm more interested in the VR headset itself. I'm more interested in that compared to this thing, you know?
Valve solution? The puck. Every Steam controller comes with a wireless dongle that clips magnetically to the Steam controller using a couple of nice, strong alignment magnets.
That's so cool,
and
though.
it uses a proprietary 2.4 gigahertz wireless interface that Valve claims is good for about 8 milliseconds end-to-end latency and offers up superior
Because all of the other consoles have always had the same bland colors.
resiliency when you're
None
using
of the other
multiple
consoles had anything
controllers.
specific.
It allows
crazy,
4 controllers
you know?
per puck, so that's not as good as the Xbox dongle, which can do 8, but Valve has tested up to 4 pucks on a single system for a maximum of
Who knows?
16
We'll see.
players, meaning that you're probably going to run out of seats on your couch before you run out of
FS4 has improved a lot. Hopefully the GameCube uses the latest one. That is true.
controller compatibility. The last chef kiss on top is an IR emitter that's cozied up beside the power LED to help you find your controller when you're in VR. I love it. Now let's get back to the Steam machine who got naked while we were busy. Oh, you. While Valve's goal was to build something that is zero hassle, grab in game for the non-tinkerers, they really were laser focused on a console-like experience.
It is definitely a plug and play kind of type of thing for the actual console people.
Experience with quick suspend and resume and modern standby so that your games are already updated when you sit down to play. They also fully acknowledge that there are folks out there, guilty, who are tinkerers, and they've come up with an ingenious design for this thing that allows it to cater to both audiences.
Really?
In advance, no, you're not going to be swapping out the BGA soldered processors. But what you can do is upgrade the storage with next to no hassle to a 2230 or larger 2280 sized M.2 drive. And while we couldn't go that deep today, Valve also confirmed that the memory uses standard SODIMM slots.
Oh, okay, I see.
Slots. Finally, while Valve hasn't actually told iFixit that this product is coming yet, they did say that they're hoping to continue their partnership that they've had on the Steam Deck, making replacement parts available for end users. Awesome.
Okay.
Since we're in here, by the way, there are some really cool details that I'd love to highlight. The power supply, for one thing, is fully integrated to the point where it's actually part of the chassis, and the cooling solution pulls air directly through it, which avoids any need for it to have its own fan.
I like to play games with my feet. Pause. I'm gonna put you in the box, I swear, Pillow. I'm gonna put you in the box. I'm gonna put you in there. I'm gonna lock up the box and put you in there, I swear.
The aforementioned Delta cooling fan is actually slightly thicker than the standard 25mm for extra static pressure, and it includes antenna mounts that are integrated into it, along with I/O mounts. Cool, right? Oh, this is actually a great look at the 4 antennas. So this is the back of the device, where you have your 2 antennas for Wi-Fi 6E. Then if we flip it around to the front, we've got 1 antenna for Bluetooth peripherals and another one that is dedicated to your Steam controller or controllers. So that puck that's included with your controller is actually extra, and you could chuck it on another PC or next to your couch for charging. A major question mark, though, is of course price. Valve wasn't able to give any specific numbers due to rapidly evolving market conditions, but they will obviously have it nailed down when the Steam Machine launches in Q1 2026 alongside the new Steam controller. They did give me one hint though. They said that while they expect it to be very competitively priced with a PC, that it will be priced like a PC, rather than like a console with games subsidizing the upfront hardware purchase.
So this will be charged like a PC. So PS5 Pro is about, what is it, 750 or 800 in total? Xbox Series X is about 700. If they manage to get this console, at least like the 2 versions of it, like the because they have like 2 different storage sizes, right? If they manage to get the 500 one competitively, and then the 1 terabyte to be somewhat in that ballpark or so, then you probably got something good here, in my personal opinion. Like, you can definitely, you know? What is, I'd be curious, for all these computer parts, how much is it in total if you built this specific computer?
They wouldn't say why, but if I had to guess, I'd say it's partially to avoid stepping on the margin opportunities of their potential partners for Steam games and Steam software, but also because they recognize that the Steam Machine is a full-fledged PC, capable of being used as a full-fledged PC. There's no guarantee then that, say, a corporate purchase of 10,000 of these things would result in a single game sale. So they really do need to protect the sustainability of their hardware business. Another major question mark is, where the heck is standalone SteamOS for custom PC builders? Well, we aren't going to get a formal SteamOS release for BYO hardware configurations anytime soon, but Valve has expanded the list of supported third-party devices, and they have supported installing the Steam Deck recovery image on AMD CPU and GPU systems.
I think I'd be very curious if SteamOS does actually become a thing or so. Probably, maybe my second computer could be running on SteamOS, if, you know.
For some time, and recently updated it to support their latest Zen 5 and RDNA 4 architecture processors. So nothing prevents you from building your own Steam machine and installing the software for free, though you will miss out on some things. HDMI CEC control, for instance, required Valve to build a custom motherboard in order to have your computer turn on alongside your AV receiver. And to get that on a BYO PC would require some serious cooperation between hardware makers that...
I'll buy your second computer.
I don't know if we should hold our breath for it.
You gotta make sure to have money for yourself.
Should work pretty much out of the box.
Spend money for yourself.
We may even
instead
get a release that supports a broader range of hardware in the future. But the vibe I'm picking up on around here is that it really depends on better support for Intel and especially NVIDIA.
We'll find a
GPUs.
way. We'll find a way.
I'm also picking up this vibe.
Can
To our
me
sponsor.
drum blink? Are you gonna share your porn?
What up? Hey man, I got a new couch and I think I need some help. Bro, you know I got some stuff to do today. Come on, it won't take long. Okay. He doesn't know it's an M1 sofa from Rove Lab, babe. Moved it and set it up by myself. Now I'm watching Grab a Rave. I really don't wanna lift a couch right now.
Start a
But he's been there
GoFundMe
for
for
me,
PC.
and I'm gonna find a way to help him somehow. Man, you made it, but it's already set up. Man, you're the greatest. How did you lift it by yourself? It's made of strong, yet comfortable foam, and it's easy to move anywhere in your home. And so why did you need my help? Want you to help me celebrate, because there's a Black Friday sale and everything's 60% off, brother.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Around 700 without the tax and tariffs. If you include those plus delivery, it would cost 1K unless Gabe can do some magic. Well, we just gotta wait. I'm just so curious. For me personally, I'm more interested in the headset. I'm more interested in the headset itself. That's the one thing I'm kind of like a little bit more interested in compared to like the Gabe Cube and everything, right? 3 months, 3-month tier sub to Pillow. Damn. Jeez. Goddamn, dubstep. Thank you for the gifted or so. Goddamn. But yeah, no. Overall, specifically, I'm more interested in the headset. The headset is what I'm interested the most. I want to see. I don't know if I'm gonna pick it up immediately, because I want to see the add-on specifically for like mouth tracking, and I know it has eye tracking, which is gonna be pretty freaking cool. I'll be honest with you. I do have some VR models that have, you know, face tracking set up already immediately. So when they do have like, I guess when they do have like an attachment or so for that specific headset, then I'll definitely cough one up. But yeah. I might regret giving Pillow link approval. But yeah. Anyways. Okay, Dub, you'll be crushed by Snoo. Damn. But yeah. Anyways, that's the end of the video. You guys can comment, like, subscribe, do all that fancy jazzy stuff. Let me know down in the comment sections down below, because I know I have some console players. Would you pick this up if it's on a good deal? Or would you pick it up even if it's $100 more than the PS5 Pro? Because remember, you don't have to pay online for this compared to console. So that is an offer on the table, that you don't have to pay online for it. So, oh yeah. But anyways, that's the end of the video. And let me know. I need a deal, limited money. The question is it'll probably save you more on the long term when it comes to like paying online. While you're on a console, you have to pay online, you gotta pay for the game. And that becomes, you know, that just becomes a thing on its own, you know? That's why. But yeah. That's why I'm just so curious what my audience on YouTube thinks. So that's why I want to know what their opinion is. So I always like reading the comment sections. But yeah. Anyways, that's the end of the video. And peace. I know I have three.